Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where we have another episode brought to you by Blade Ops. Be sure to look them up for all things sharp, and be sure to check out the knives that I'm going to have in this video, linked below in the description. And we have some great American-made knives to take a look at today. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 Pro-Techs to take a look at. And what's really exciting for me about this is I have never handled these 3 Pro-Techs. Now, I will say I have had these out of the box. I have kind of run through my feel for ergos in action and all the things that I look for. So these aren't true unboxings, but I just kind of have them in here for a presentational purpose. We are going to move this one here off to the side, and we're going to take a look at these 2 together because these are 2 kind of similar Pro-Techs. But also very different. So let's hop right into it and take a look at these 2 first and what we have here. Before I open these boxes, I want to give a shout out to Pro-Tech on how awesome their packaging is. I love what they're doing with their packaging. I like the little sleeves here, how they kind of hold it closed, and you don't have to cut through any tape. There's never any tape or stickers on there. You just pull it back. It's a magnet. You open them up, and here's what we have here. We have the Godson and the Godfather. These are 2 models that I've considered buying multiple times without even looking at them, because there is one thing I know about Pro-Tech, guys. You're getting some of the best quality you can get in an American-made knife, and you're getting a lot of just work that is, in my opinion, they're one of the best. They're one of the best when it comes to American manufacturing. And when it comes to automatics, there is nothing that kicks quite like a Pro-Tech. There are a couple. I will say the Microtech SOCOM Elite in an automatic, that kicks like a mule. But when it comes to overall consistency from model to model to model, and especially from a company that makes so many automatic knives, you can't beat the consistency from a Pro-Tech out the side automatic. Now, these 2 knives, let's take a quick overview of these 2 and go over some brief, the most important specs, and then just kind of give my overall thoughts on them. Well, let's start off with the Godson here, the little guy. We're looking at an overall length of 7.56 inches with a blade length coming in at 3.15 inches and a handle length at 4.41 inches. Now, what you'll see on a lot of Pro-Techs is this steel right here, 154 cm. Some people have an issue with 154 cm on knives of the price I'm about to mention, but I will say this, and I am speaking from personal experience. The 154 cm from Pro-Tech, they use it so much, they've used it for so long, I think they may get more out of it than anyone. When it comes to 154 cm, you're not going to find many companies, if any, that have better 154 cm than Pro-Tech. They really do get a lot out of it, but, it's still 154 cm. It's not M390, it's not 20 CV, it's not a super premium steel. So take that for what it's worth. But a price of this guy at $280. Now, they're not all $280. This one is $280 because of this beautiful inlay right here that is a maple burl inlay. And this is the model that I have wanted to purchase for a very, very long time because I love the maple burl. I love the black. There's one thing about this knife that I am not a fan of, and we'll get to that here in a second. But also keep in mind, these go as low as $150, as low as $150 for an American-made automatic with fantastic fit and finish. So I'll have all those linked below, and you guys can check and see which ones are $150, which one, obviously, this is $280. But very nice little offering there from Pro-Tech, and let's plot this guy right here. The Godfather, that is just an absolute, I don't want to say brute or tank because it's not like big and bulky, but it is a big knife. We're looking at an overall length of 9.25 inches, a blade length of 4 inches, handle length of 5.25 inches, and again, you got 154 cm steel and a price of $210 for this. And I think 210 is about as low as this goes. They may dip down under 200. You may find one at like 195, but they're right around 200, 210 for about as low as they go, from what I can see. Now, the two biggest difference with these knives for me is the handle length. The blade length is actually, you know, I mean, there's obviously a pretty significant difference, but the handle length is a massive difference. And you notice it in how it feels in hand and just like how your hand covers it. Obviously, they both actually feel really good in my hand. Even the Godson with its smaller handle of 3.15 inches, or 4.41 inches on the handle length, really does feel just as good as the handle on the Godfather, coming at 5.25. If I had to pick one, I would actually probably pick the Godson, just because that smaller length, I feel like it's more completely like in my palm and centered, as to where the Godfather the handle's so big. I feel like my hand's just stretching all over the place, but it also still feels good because I have a full place to rest my thumb, and I've got plenty of the handle down here that's not poking or digging. It's sitting really good towards my palm. So they really are both completely acceptable, both very neutral. When it comes to everything on the Godfather, I don't really have any issue with it. Everything's proportional. Everything's good. The action is so good. So good. So no real issues with the Godfather. Now, the Godson, here's my gripe. Why? Why do you have the same size pocket clip on a significantly smaller knife? It looks a little weird, and I feel the pocket clip a little more in hand. Now, it doesn't feel bad. It really doesn't feel bad. There's no hot spots. It just feels like that pocket clip is like almost all over the back of this handle. Now, again, there's no hot spots. And there is one nice thing when you're deploying this blade, and this may just be my hand and how it works, but my finger fits right pretty comfortably in the dip of the pocket clip, and that does provide some good security. So I do like that, and that's where I'm really torn with this, was I don't like the aesthetics of a bigger clip. And just the overall length of it is just kind of obnoxious because it's also covering up this beautiful maple burl inlay. I really struggle to say maple burl. I have to like slow down and say maple burl, but that's just me again. But I'm very torn, and I usually do side with ergos over aesthetics. A lot of times I will, especially when it comes to something like a pocket clip. I'm very much in the middle here. And I've also seen some with deep carry pocket clips. So that is an option too. You could always just replace this. There are replacements. I believe this is the same 3-hole pattern as a Benchmade, I think, let me know. But I know there's also some actual Godsons that come from Pro-Tech with a deep carry clip. They're more like special editions or something like that, but you can get them with deep carry clips. You just got to pay attention when you're looking at them. But these two knives in general, really glad to get these on. To be totally honest, from my personal experience with Pro-Tech, I've never come across one that I wouldn't recommend. There's some that I may not prefer from an aesthetic standpoint compared to others, but these are two that I really do enjoy, and I will probably look into picking up one or both of these at some point, because I do kind of collect. I mean, obviously I collect knives and use knives, but some brands I look at a little more than others, and Pro-Tech is one of them. There's just so many out the sides I can have at once. But both of these are great. Both of these are ones I would recommend. And it really just comes down to like what flavor do you want and what size do you want. And either one of these are good to go. Now, let's set these aside and let's take a look at the other one I have. And this one, I purposely avoided this one for a while because I didn't think the ergos were going to be for me. And I wasn't sure about the length of this blade because I had the original and there was a bigger version of this. And I tell you what, this knife has done nothing but prove me wrong. Let me pull that back. There we go. Like I said, this knife has done nothing but prove me wrong. And what we have here is the Pro-Tech SBR. And it's even smaller, obviously. So if you guys don't know, SBR stands for short-bladed rockeye. Rockeye was a larger version of a knife just like this that Pro-Tech made 4 or 5 years ago. I had one. I loved it. And I was like, why would you even want to make a small version of such a good knife? And then I got this in hand. And man, let's listen to that kick one more time. a beast of a little snappy blade. And what you have here is a slightly different blade. We have a total length coming in, overall length coming in at 6.5 inches, a blade length at a relatively short 2.625 inches, and a handle length of 3.75 inches. Now, the big difference with the SBR is it comes with S35VN. So a significant upgrade in steel compared to 154 cm, and a price of a pretty darn reasonable $195. For this version, of course, they get more expensive. I'll have them linked below. You can pick whichever flavor you want, but just know obviously the price will change with the version you select. But this is what shocked me with this knife, is this right here, the ergos. Because I knew when I saw the shape of this handle and I saw the handle length, I knew the handle was going to come short, and I knew it was going to be like right around the area of something I don't like, because I don't mind 3-finger grip knives. I'm fine with a 3-finger grip. What kind of annoys me a lot of the time is a 3.5-finger grip. That for me is not comfortable, and I don't like it. And there's very few knives that are an exception to that rule for me. But damn it, this is one of them. And it all has to do with just the design back here in my hand. It almost like it's like the butt of the handle just melts into the bottom of my hand, and it feels phenomenal. Even without the choil up there, you have this area with pretty identifiable, that's where your index finger goes all the time. And this knife just feels fantastic in my hand. I love the thumb ramp up here. The jimping obviously isn't very grippy. I think it's just more aesthetic and kind of a placement of where to put your thumb. It may help a little, but I definitely wouldn't consider it fully functional because it's so smooth. But the overall aesthetics of this guy are so much better in person than I thought they'd be. I haven't always been a huge fan of, 2.5, 2.6 inch blades. I like them. I have a decent amount of them. But I like the regular version of the Rockeye so much. I really just kind of immediately gave this knife a pass, and I was completely wrong. I just was. And this is one that I will be picking up 100% for my personal collection, because it's just an excellent little out the side automatic under 3 inches. And to be totally honest, this is probably the best out the side automatic under 3 inches that I've ever personally handled, because it's just an excellent blade shape with a great steel. Pro-Tech's putting a phenomenal heat treat on all their steels. And because if you guys don't know, Dave Wattenberg over at Pro-Tech, he just does things right, and he does them all right. It's kind of just a general rule of thumb. It's a bit of information that if you've been in the knife community long enough and Pro-Tech, Pro-Tech just does things right. And you notice that in every model you handle too. And at first I kind of thought that was a load of baloney, like, oh, everyone's just being nice to Pro-Tech. But I've handled easily over 15 Pro-Techs now, in every single one. This has all been probably the last 4 to 5 years too, so take that for what it's worth. I know Pro-Tech's been around a lot longer than that, but I haven't handled any of their really old models. But over the past 5 years, about 15 Pro-Techs, and yeah, they are all super snappy, excellent quality, excellent action, excellent feel. It comes down to aesthetics and price. Like, what do you like and can you afford it? And if you like it and you can afford it, I would definitely pull the trigger on a Pro-Tech. Just an excellent design by Les George, executed to perfection by Pro-Tech, and this is the final result here. An excellent small little knife that feels so surprisingly well in your hand, with a great little blade. And this pocket clip we'll take a quick little look at here that is perfect in my opinion. Fully recessed, not too long. This is an excellent pocket clip on this knife. It looks much more right on this knife from a proportional standpoint and just a design standpoint. It looks great. So guys, this is the Pro-Tech SBR. This one, I love being proved wrong. I really do, because I know I've handled a lot of knives and people ask me a lot of questions, but you know what? I love thinking a knife is not going to be that great and then just being totally blown away by it. So today was a good day. And here we have, again, guys, we'll put them back out here and just touch on them real quick. I don't know if that's it just fits. There we go, guys. The Pro-Tech SBR, the Pro-Tech Godson, the Pro-Tech Godfather. You can't go wrong with any of them. Pick whatever looks best to you, whatever you can afford. But Pro-Tech is definitely a brand if you're looking for an out-the-side automatic with consistent quality, and, you know, something that's fully American sourced and made. You want to keep an eye on Pro-Tech. They got a lot of good things going on right now. Really happy to have these three on the channel. Really hope you enjoyed them. I'm sure a lot of people have probably handled these before me. So let me know what you guys think of these models. Which one would you take? Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.